For all those people who go, Leon might not be the player that we all think he is without Connor. Here he is. He's done it a million times, guys.
He does this every time, Dan. He does this every time. Yep.
When Connor's out, Leon just keeps chugging, man. Ice is ready, and we are back with another episode of the Empty Netters podcast, brought to you by BetMGM. I am your host, Dan Powers, and with me, it's a man who would like people to think that he's a nice guy, a good person, but when we were little kids, he used to pin me down on the ground and jump up and drive his knees straight into the back and break my spine on a daily basis. Chris Powers, and he's changed his sweatshirt, folks.
As always, and Dan... two things. One, you always tell that story and you leave out the fact that eventually you got stronger than me and then you used to beat me up. And you say that as if it's how could I? You tried to kill me when we were kids and I eventually grew up and fought back. Yeah, but that's not the way of the world. That's not the way of things.
That's supposed to do that. That's a textbook movie script. That is how every story has ever gone. You eventually need to defend yourself.
Yeah, but that not in the wild. You know, like I was toughening you up. I was doing my job, and then you lashed out as if like I needed to be toughed up, but I had already been toughed up. Like I didn't need a second toughing, and you tried to do that.
Yeah, but you're leaving out the part like you weren't toughening me up. You were trying to murder me. You were trying to commit murder. That's the part. You went too far. My second point was Dad did doing that one time. Yeah, that's true. You know what though? You reap what you sow. Someone came in the DMs yesterday and said we talked about how you're unlucky last episode, and they said you are unlucky because you do stuff like how you sewered me in blind ranking. Like you think you're this nice guy, dude, but you're a trash bag. You're a trash bag, dude.
Dude, you made your own bed in that. Dude, I'm going to take this opportunity to speak about that because I swear to God the Rangers were 5th, and what I was trying to do was give you teams that you would have put low because I just wanted you to take up 5 so I could hit you with the Rangers. So I was trying to do that. I didn't know you were going to leave 1. Like I wanted
a scumbag, dude.
Yeah, that was you. You made your own bed.
You're a scumbag. Speaking of bed, dude. Speaking of bed, we had a great April Fool's joke last episode. Got a lot of people. So if you got, don't feel bad. It happened to a lot of people. Yeah. Dude, I think the karma that I got from that is I woke up this morning and my wrist is absolutely killing me. Like I can barely move it. And I think it's just because of my T-Rex sleeping. Like as so many people... So many people in the comment section of that clip were like, dude, be careful. Like I sleep with wrist guards these days. And I was like, all right, I don't think I T-Rex that hard. And now like this morning I can barely move this wrist and literally nothing has happened other than it must be that I was T-Rexing too hard. So
other than you went womb last night, you went full womb.
Yeah. It's just horrible. So, here we are. There's not anything we are paying that we are suffering the consequences of our own actions here today. And that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that is correct, dude. I didn't sleep well either because I ate 3 pounds of candy before I went to sleep. And unfortunately that's not a prompt on my Whoop when I'm trying to journal. It says, did you share your bed last night? Did you sleep in a dark room? Did you eat 5 pounds of candy? It doesn't.
By the way, dude, that is so kinky of Whoop being like, did you share your bed? Like, what the fuck, Whoop? What do you need to know? You want to ask what positions next time? Jesus
dude,
Christ.
It does. That share your bed is the PG. I didn't even want to get into it, Dan. They ask some shit in there. And there's timer bars. It says, did you do this?
No.
How long?
No.
Oh yeah, Dan. Oh yeah, dude. It wants to know everything. Like you think this is a fucking hobby, dude? It wants to know everything.
Does the timer bar go low enough for you or do you have to lie?
Hell no, dude. And it's like a frequency bar. It's like, how many times did you do this in one day? And I'm like, that's embarrassing.
Naughty fuckers, dude. Naughty fuckers at Whoop. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Dan, I also thought it would be hilarious. This is maybe for a script someday, where it's like, because you can go in your history and it's like, how many times have you done everything that it's asking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it would be hilarious if a boyfriend and a girlfriend were looking at their whoops and share your bed was a different number
Oh
because
God,
the dude was
dude,
he's so committed to the whoop. He's not committed to her, but he's committed to the whoop. Dan. Like he cheats, but he's like, I have to share my bed for
I
journaling.
have to log it. I have
For
to log
journaling.
it, dude. Like, I need to stay up on my fitness journey. I have to log this. Can you imagine? Could you imagine getting caught being a scumbag and cheating because of your Whoop journal? That would be diabolical stuff. Wow.
It's fucking gold, dude. But
Oh,
dude,
wow.
the real problem was, and I just need where are Safeways like only in Colorado or like where are Safeways?
No, it's not only Colorado because I mean, do a quick Google search, dude, because I remember we were at a Safeway somewhere recently and we weren't in Colorado, but Safeway's gas, great grocery store chain. I remember so vividly the day when I was young and I just thought, we grew up in New England, we grew up in Maine, and Hannaford, it was the major grocery store. And I remember going off to prep school and realizing that other areas have like general grocery stores. We've got Roach Brothers, we've got Publix, we've got Ralph's, we've got Safeway. And that was interesting. And Safeway, dude, that's top tier. Safeway's got great stuff.
Dude, it says Safeway it says it's in California, which is crazy. I don't know if I've seen one there, but it says California, Washington, Arizona, Colorado.
Arizona, that's where we were. We were in Scottsdale.
Okay. Well, exclusive to Safeway is sour watermelon Mike and Ike's.
Dude.
And
let me tell you what, brother. I'm not a huge candy guy. I'm not a big sweet tooth guy, and I'm really not a big sour guy. Not that I don't like it. It's not my choice. But I was a huge Mike and Ike's guy when I was a kid. And then when our boy Kruger dropped sowy watermelon Mike and Ike's on me, I almost spun off this planet.
It ruined my whole week, Dan. I'm out here trying to have a healthy week, and I'm having sour watermelon Mike and Ike's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Don't even get me started on dessert. Don't even get me started on what I'm having for dessert.
They were so good, dude. They were so good. But I'll be honest with you. You guys, I know you're a Sowies guy. You're as in a Sour Patch Kids guy.
Big time.
I'm here to tell you, Haribo Golden Bears sours. That's the elite sour candy. No question about it.
Well, dude, they're very good. Truly, I love them. You get them a lot, and I love them. But they aren't sour at all, really.
Yeah, they are. They're just like,
no.
It's not a warhead. But
yeah, but dude,
sour.
It's like barely sour. Which actually was what I wanted to talk to you about. Which is what you showed me is the Sour Patch Kid announcement 2 days ago or whatever. That was like, hey, you guys talk so much heat about us not being sour enough. They're more sour than the Bears. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So people like Sour Patch Kids not sour enough. We're changing our name to Patch Kids moving forward. And it wasn't on April Fool's. And they were like, it's not an April Fool's joke. And I don't even know. I've not even gotten to the bottom of this, if this is true or not.
I haven't seen Just Kids yet, so we'll see.
Well, I mean, that announcement just happened. There's probably thousands and thousands and thousands of bags already made that have the logo on it, So like, it's going to be a minute.
You think just thousands, Chris? It's probably fucking hundreds of thousands. Like, there's
yeah.
Sour Patch Kids in every gas station in America.
There's millions of bags. You're right.
Yeah.
So, two things. One, I did a search about it, and dude, Sour Patch Kids came out in the 80s, and originally they were called Mars Men.
Yeah, I don't get it. Was it made by they're not a Mars company, are they? Like,
well, first of all, they must be.
Yeah, but if they're not, that's the craziest name of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't believe that they would. I know they're just like, we're not sour enough, but I can't believe there's no mention of sour in that name originally. Like, someone was just like, here's Mars Men. And people were like, cool, bought it. And then they were like, whoa, dude, the fuck?
These are sour as shit, dude.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. And I actually might start calling them Mars Men now as slang for like the real OG people that know.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
And then, my second thing is, dude, when I was talking about this or thinking about this, looking it up, I have a distinct memory of the first time Sour Patch Kids were in my life. And then clearly based on the story, they were in my life before this, but this is the first memory of Sour Patch Kids I ever have. Dude, you must have been there, but maybe you were so young.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
Okay.
Of course, I don't know what you were going to say about your first memory of eating Sour Patch Kids, you fucking psychopath.
Dude, I went to Beauty and the Beast on ice at the Boston Garden, dude. And I was there with Dad for sure. Maybe it was just Dad. Like maybe you and Mom weren't there.
No, I was there. I was there. I was there. I know because I got I also had a first at that. I got Dippin' Dots in a in a little cup that looked like Chip, like Chip from Beauty and the Beast. And I kept that bowl for like 10 years, bro. And I ate everything out of it, like ice cream, cereal, and it was too small for cereal, but I still used Chip. And dude, the day that Chip died was a very sad day for me. Like I barely recovered. I remember it fell from the kitchen table and it broke, aptly named. And I was like, we have to fix this. And Mom was like, dude, this is a piece of shit plastic bowl that you've had for a decade. It's probably filled with poisons and bacteria. We're taking this opportunity to throw it away. And I went in my room and just stared at the wall for like 10 hours because I was like, Chip is gone.
Dude, well, we had two, Dad. We had two because we were there. I think it was the Wilsons. I think Jimmy Wilson and his kids were there. And they go down to the dude, Dad takes me to the concession stand. Yeah. And the Wilson girls go, we'll have some cotton candy. And Jimmy Wilson says, okay. And then I go, I'll have some cotton candy too. I've never even had cotton candy. Looks gas. And Dad goes like this, you are not allowed to have cotton candy. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm humiliated, dude, and pissed. And then I see in the window that there's a box of Sour Patch Kids. And in that moment, I knew that I loved them. And I don't know why. I don't have a memory previous of this, falling in love with them. But I was like, okay, well, then get me Sour Patch Kids or shoot me into the fucking sun because this is social suicide that I can't get cotton candy. So I can maybe spin that Sour Patch Kids are better than cotton candy. So get me those. And Dad said, you're not allowed to have those either. And I had to get a vanilla chocolate soft serve twist in a chip cup. And they said, well, it's a souvenir. You get to take them home. You get to eat the soft serve. You get to take Chip home. Don't worry about humiliating yourself in front of everybody with no cotton candy and no sours. You get to take Chip home. And I came back with fucking ice cream, dude. Yeah, I didn't even get the Dippin' Dots. Sounds like you got the Dippin' Dots, dude, from Mom.
I did get Dippin' Dots. So hold on. But I'm so confused. You didn't even eat Sour Patch Kids in this experience? You just saw them
and knew in my core that I was like, that's my favorite candy.
Dude, you are such a fucking mentally ill person. It's actually remarkable. The fact that you have not seen a professional, some sort of psychiatrist, to just talk about why you have become the way you are is remarkable. You need to see someone professionally because that being your story of your first Sour Patch Kids experience and you not even eating them couldn't
get them. The forbidden fruit, Dan.
Horrifying,
the forbidden Mars men that shaped my whole life.
Dude, unbelievable. Listen, speaking of aliens, speaking of beasts on the ice, let's get into some hot ice and let's talk about Alex Ovechkin. Game against Boston last night. Ryan Leonard's debut.
Looked good.
Ovi Potts. Oh, yeah, he did. Laying the wood, dude. Laying the wood. We got a skill guy, a good scorer, and he's absolutely throwing the body out there. But we got Ovi. Gets the second goal of the game. Unbelievable. Your boy smashed a nice bet on that one. Didn't share it with you. Didn't share it with you. Sorry about that. I always hate when you get a bet and I post and people like share these, dude. I'm like, well, when I share them and they don't hit, you guys call me a fucking moron. So I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. Tough one.
He's got 38 goals on the season now. He is 4 away from the standalone all-time goal leader. Quick flowers to Dylan Strome, by the way, on that pass. I mean, like, it was every time Ovi scores, everyone freaks out. Dude, Dylan Strome, he's having a career year, and he looks like Nicholas Backstrom reborn. He and Ovi are so in sync. And Stromer's also been amazing for everyone else on the ice. Like, he is just such a perfect setup center. But career year, and man, you got to think a couple of those teams that gave up on him feel pretty stupid right now because he is just an elite hockey player.
That pass, and I mean this with respect, that pass was so sick that Dude. I'm not even sure it was a pass. Like, that's how good it was, in that, in my mind, you literally must have been trying to just tip that on net, and you tipped it too far. You overcooked it across the net with the most awkward backhand angle I've ever seen. And right on Ovi's tape. And I'm not even sure, Dan. Like, he's that good that it was a pass, but it was so mutant that I'm like, no. Literally, you were trying to tip that on net, and you never have to admit it, but I know. And then it just went to Ovi because he was over there and he scored. That's my final ruling.
And I respect that. Because it's so crazy, I respect that ruling. I'm here to tell you it was a pass, but I understand you feeling that way. It was crazy. But getting to Ovi, 38 goals, 58 games this year. People, I think this season has been such a whirlwind, and Ovi's chase has been so fun to watch. People forget this is the season he broke his leg. I remember, no pun intended, breaking that news. And actually, someone on Twitter coming at me, and I was like, dude, the news about Ovi's injury is not great. And then it came out that it was a broken leg, and someone was like, yeah, you're going to walk that one back? And I was like, do you not think a broken leg is bad? And he was like, it's not a torn ACL. And I was like, okay, moron. But he broke his leg, missed some time, was skating a couple weeks later because he's such a mutant. But 58 games, 38 goals, 0.66 goals per game pace, CP. Like, what in the world?
Leon's 0.74 for people, for those that keeping score at home. 52 goals. Yeah, like up 10 on anybody else in the league. 0.74, Ovi 0.66. Ridiculous.
It's crazy, dude. Like, we are genuinely watching some of the most miraculous stuff in the world, and I need a Hattie. I need a Hattie here. Like, I want him.
Yeah,
I want him to just in one of these next 3 games. If he just got a multiple, like, I wanted him to get a second in that Boston game so badly, because it just shave it away, baby. Like, just get down to 1 away for the last. If he's 1 away for like the last 4 games of the season, we're laughing.
Oh, dude. Well, listen, he's going to do it. And I admit I've been selfishly, as I've said many times, I'm very financially invested in it happening against Pittsburgh. So I'm like, slow down a little bit. So I'm glad he didn't get another one, because I'm like, wait. But I do think a factor, though, you see this with MLB guys a lot with home runs when they're like at something 99. It's like they'll go several games without getting it, because you're just like, you're thinking about it. You try not to think about it, but you're thinking about it. So I do think there's a chance when he gets even maybe 1 away from tying, we might see a couple games in a row where it's just gripping the stick a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not, because he just doesn't think about anything other than fucking pumping in goals at all times. He doesn't think, he just fucking shoots. So that maybe not to worry. But I'm still clinging to the Pittsburgh hope, just because I think that would be so sick. I will say, Dan, last night I was watching that game, and Ovi, I was like, oh, maybe he'll bag an empty netter. Then the Caps went up 2 against Boston, and I was like, oh, there's a chance Boston doesn't even pull sway, because they're down 2 and this season is over, and they'd rather lose. And then Pasta wires home his second. Nasty. He's such a freak, and I love him. I don't think he's going to get 100 points, but he would be the third. Only 2 Bruins ever, Dan, have had 3 straight 100-point seasons, or in Esposito. And Pasta was going for it this year, so I'll actually be kind of bummed if he doesn't hit that, which he probably won't.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
But he wires one home. I think his like 37th of the year. And then, so I was like, okay, they're definitely going to pull him. And then, dude, Ovi came out with legitimately, bro, like 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, sway in the net. And I remember thinking, why'd they put him out here? Like, they should have saved him for the empty net shift. This is crazy. And then, dude, he just didn't change the rest of the game. And he is always like not defensive side of the puck. Like, the Bees have it in there, and Ovi's like up behind everybody. He's not out of the zone, but he's literally top of the zone, just waiting for it to squirt loose to be like, pass it to me. And there was multiple times, dude, where he is so gassed that the Bees are just swinging it D to D. It's his guy. And he's just still standing in the high slot. And I'm like, dude, and the Caps are in. They've already clinched, but I was kind of like, bro, this is a 1-goal game. Like, you need to play some D. Like this, if you guys lose this game because you're cherry picking for a fucking empty netter, I gotta love that, to be honest.
Dude, it's funny. Like, yeah, they've won the Met, but that was a funny element, and it for me. This one felt like the first game where it's like, okay, you're going for it, because there was that game a couple of weeks ago where he had an empty net look and he gave it to Protas for the Hattie, and now this one he's just like floating in a 1-goal game. I was like, oh yeah, he wants it.
Yeah, it's crazy. He
definitely wants it. And I don't blame him at all. But it is just remarkable to see what this guy is doing. And it goes into how good the Caps have been. We've talked about it so many times. This season has been insane. We're going to do an episode here after once playoffs are set. We're going to do an episode where we're both wearing dunce caps the whole time, because when I look back at our division previews, and frankly, it's not just us. We did our division previews with Tomer. We all our boys over at Chicklets, like everyone did their division preview. Everyone's all over the place, dude. Like no one predicted what is going on in any division, frankly. But the Caps were one that people were like, yeah, they're kind of in this weird middle ground, and now here they are. So good, possibly going to be a President's Trophy team, and so much of it is because of how much Ovi has wound the clock back.
You had to have gone. McMichaels and Protest will take a massive leap. PLD will find his forever home, and LT is the absolute dog that he said he was in Vegas. Like and
Chychrun, dude, and Chychrun is going to be a top D man in the league.
Yep, and Ovi's like perceived semi-cliff last year was a literal mirage, and he's better than he's ever been. Like all of those things had to happen. So yeah, we were wrong, but anyone that was predicting that has been to the future, and we should tie him up and get bets from him, because I would like to know what else happens in the future. Taking a quick break to tell you guys about one of my favorite promotions that BetMGM has, and it's the NHL Hat Trick Jackpot. All you have to do is bet on an anytime goal scorer. Okay. If that person scores, you just win the bet. Like that's its own bet and you win. Congratulations. If that person scores 3 or more, grabs himself a Hattie, you get your share of 10 grand, 10,000 in bonus bets with whoever else picks him. Okay. So just literally bet anyone, anytime goal scorer, sniff out a goal. You find one, sniff out a goal. If they get one, you win your bet. If they get 3 or more, you're splitting 10 G's with the people who have it. Okay. And when you sign up for BetMGM and you use promo code NETTERS, that's NETTERS when you sign up, you can receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. So literally sign up, bet on an anytime goal scorer. If they lose, boom, $1,500 in bonus. Or if they don't score, boom, $1,500 in bonus bets. If they do score, boom, you win your bet. And if they score 3, you get your share of 10 G's in bonus bets. Come on, that's insane. So jump on board right now, download that BetMGM app, and use that promo code NETTERS. Otherwise, you're missing out. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Sticking in the East, and another team that has shocked the world, Habs, with a massive, massive win last night over the Cats. Back-to-back wins against top team Florida Panthers puts the Habs at 3-0 against Florida this season, dude. Unbelievable stuff going on. Coming from behind, get this win. How about the little tire pump we gave Nick Suzuki last episode? Then he comes out, scores with less than 10 seconds left in the third to tie it, and then gets the OT winner. Lane Hudson, dude, 3 points on all 3 goals, puts him at 62 points in 74 games. The environment in the Bell Center was through the roof. If you haven't seen videos of that yet, if you guys haven't watched the way that place exploded on the tying goal and then the game winner, you are missing out. Holy shit. Big boy hockey, dude. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the Habs playing big boy hockey. They see that door open to the playoffs, and they're running through it. Then they went on a little bit of a skid, and now here they are, 2 crucial games against a tough opponent, 2 crucial wins. Are the Habs in?
Dude, I said literally 2 days ago that I was like, I don't know if they can do it. Just because of the blip they'd been on and the teams lurking behind them. That win, just the fact that you beat a Panthers team who has a lot to play for, by the way. They want that one seed too. They don't want to fucking play Tampa in the first round. Tampa could get the one seed, but the one seed is beneficial in the Atlantic everywhere, obviously.
Yep.
Florida has a lot to play for. You lose to the Habs, like the pesky Habs. If you're the Panthers, you go, not only do we need this win, but also we're certainly not losing to the Habs again, right? Like that's, if I had been betting on that game, I would have been hammering Cats money line. And it was 2-0, right? Or it was 2-0, right? Or was it only 2-1?
2-0 Florida. Let me check.
Check. I'm pretty sure it was 2-0. So you go, we're the better team, and we're certainly not losing to the Habs again, and we need this fucking game. And to have the Habs, and it was a bad bounce, like if you're the Panthers, it's like that ricochet.
No, it was they actually went up 1-0, then it was 2-1 Florida.
Yeah, that's what it was only 2-1 Florida. I thought it was 2-0 Florida. Okay, so either way, you're up 2-1. Yeah, up 2-1, kind of a bad bounce to Suzuki backdoor, but you fucking protect the house, dude. Habs tie it, and then they win it in under 30 seconds in overtime. That game said enough to me about a superior opponent in a game that they really had to have, that I'm like, okay, something is happening, to the point that 2 days ago I questioned them, and now today I'm literally calling it, Dan. East wildcard race over, Ottawa, Montreal in. New York Rangers, good season. New York Islanders, dead. And Columbus Blue Jackets, hell of a season. I'm very sorry it's not you. I appreciate everything you did for the league and for the fans this year, rallying around a tragedy and playing fucking awesome hockey, but you ran out of gas. Habs in.
I love that, but I can't call it. I mean,
done.
I think
finished.
I respect you. I can't call it. The way that Columbus keeps fighting. I mean, they just put a beat down last night. And the pesky Rangers, dude, I just think Gabe Perreault coming into the lineup, playing in a game tonight against Minnesota, the regulations win things scares me. I know Montreal has a game in hand on them, but if they win tonight against Minnesota, especially in regulation, they've got the same amount of points. So Montreal needs to keep winning. I mean, we need to see the Rangers get a couple losses here and Montreal get a couple wins. And it just, the 2-point gap, it's entertaining. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It's entertaining as all hell, but I need a gap. I need a gap to call it. Cause right now it's just every day things could change, but they're doing the right things, whereas other teams are doing the wrong things. And I am not ready to call Columbus dead at all. But I do think a big thing, and this is just sort of a general hockey take, we've talked about so many times. We did it last year. We just gassed up the Caps. And then last year, when they snuck into the playoffs, we were like, fuck you, go away. Like, let one of these young, exciting teams come in. And now look at them. They're a young, exciting team, being one of the best teams in the league. But I think that there are environments in the first round of playoffs that even if you lose, the NHL needs. It's just good for the game. It's good for fan bases. It's good for young fans getting into hockey, seeing some of these first-round matchups. And while I know it's not my favorite, I know MSG creates a good playoff environment. I know it creates fun times in the game and outside the game at bars, things like that. If you are telling me it's good for the NHL, and I'm here to say I know Rangers fans don't feel this way. They're being smart right now. But like if we are between the Rangers getting into playoffs and losing in the first round, getting swept, whatever, versus this young, exciting Montreal Canadiens team with Martin St. Louis behind the bench, and this group firing up the Bell Center in the first round, like there is no discussion. There is no discussion what is a better environment. Even if the Habs get swept in the first round by whoever they play, those 2 games in Montreal will be possibly the best environments until the Stanley Cup final. It is going to be amazing if they get in. And there were a few people in a discussion last night who were like, we're talking about them playing big boy hockey, and people are like, who cares? They're going to lose in the first round. And I'm like, that's not the point, dude. I got news for you. Lots of teams lose in the first round.
Yeah,
happens every year. Half of them do. And ultimately, even if they lose, that is going to be electric for hockey, and I want it.
Dan, you said it perfectly. At Columbus, I want to give flowers to because they are one of the most passionate fan bases in the league. That's a fact. Anyone that's never been there doesn't know. They sell out consistently. They love that squad. And what playoff hockey would mean to them this year cannot be understated. So I want to get that out there. But having just come from Four Nations and seen what the Bell Center can do when they're behind their boys is unrivaled in this league. And getting into playoffs would be incredible. And that's honestly why I think that's why I'm calling it is that environment. That environment is just giving them that extra, when you're back checking and your boy pushes his stick into your back to just make sure you can get there. The Bell Center crowd is pushing their stick into the Habs back, and they will complete this back check, and then they will make the playoffs. And Dan, I'm just thinking about this for the first time. What a nightmare for the Caps if that's where you're headed round one.
What's interesting, dude, is I hear you. I think the Caps are just so strong. I think they're unflappable in the first round. I think Ottawa playing Toronto, if Toronto gets that first Atlantic seed, is a much bigger nightmare. And then I also tweeted last night, dude, it's possible if Montreal chases down Ottawa and they get that first wild card and they end up playing Toronto, dude, can you imagine the vibes of a Toronto Montreal first round and like the haunting ghosts that would fill that arena if Scotiabank they will lose. Montreal will beat Toronto.
The Habs beat the Leafs in the bubble year, right? Like that was the matchup. I think the Leafs lost in the first round to that, and then the Habs went to the Cup. Yeah.
I think
so.
It's
right.
like that would be the most haunting thing for Toronto in the first round.
Do they hate the Sens more? Like who's their biggest Canadian rival?
It's a great.
We got to ask Greg.
A good question. Well, I know it's we'd ask Greg, but I bet it differs, man. Like if we asked a bunch of our Leafs fans buddies, I bet they would have different answers, but because it's like, I think historically Montreal or Ottawa might be like the one, but most Leafs fans our age are like Boston. Boston is our haunting ghost. So either way, some of these matchups in the first round are going to be insane. But speaking of ghosts, Chris, speaking of playoff locked teams and speaking of surprise teams, I want to talk about St. Louis for a quick minute, and specifically Jim Montgomery, who is now officially Don Sweeney and Cam Neely's ghost. Yeah. This is something that is not getting talked about enough. And I think if we were to wait until the end of the season, wait until playoffs, maybe the Blues go on a run, maybe they do the 19 repeat, maybe they lose in the first round, who knows? It would get swept under the rug. Jim Montgomery goes through a bad experience in Boston where he wants an extension. Boston's not giving it to him. Boston starts struggling and he gets fired. We'll go into the reasons behind that firing, but since going to St. Louis, which happened very quickly, as we both said, we were like, Jim Montgomery will not be unemployed very long at all, can guarantee you that. And then a few days later, boom. He is 31-16-6 with the Blues since joining, a 6.42 win percentage. We talk about all the time how good Jim Montgomery is for young players in this league. Jordan Kyrou has matched his career high in goals, and he is 5 points off of his career high in points. He went from a -12 last season to a +21 so far this year as a wildcard team, mind you. Dylan Holloway, young little player. He had 9 points last year in 38 games with Edmonton. He has 26 goals and 62 points with a +20. Philip Broberg, quiet year last year in Edmonton, obviously a young player. He has 27 points and 8 goals in 62 games from the blue line, also a +20. This guy is very, very, very good at coaching in the NHL. He was fired, and there were a lot of people screaming that Boston fired the wrong guy. We were huge on that, banging that drum. And there are players on that Boston Bruins team who feel that way and have said that behind closed doors. And here we go now. You look at the state of these two teams. We're going to focus more on the Blues than the Bruins. But how tough of a look is this when you talk about all the time, are the Bruins seriously not going to make a change in the front office after everything that's happened? And then you look at this in addition to so many of the other things that are a tough look for Boston. How crazy is this?
Dude, how much do you think that Sweeney and Neely truly are rooting against the Blues? Like, I know publicly they would go, we love Jim, and I'm sure they like him as a person. So they're like, we love Jim and we're rooting for him. But I bet deep down they are like, I need the Blues to lose more than I need air in my lungs.
Yeah, and 100%, dude. And I don't even think that that's a knock. I don't think that's a knock on them, because it's just you're in sports, man. That's competitive. It's life. You want to win any sort of trade or transaction that you make. You know, when you want to win the breakup, dude. You want to win the breakup.
Yeah.
When you break up with someone, you want to pop on Instagram, you know, years later, months later, and you want to see them dating a fat, disgusting troll. That's just how you want them to be happy, sure, but you just don't want to see them winning, you know, at all.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they are losing the breakup in a big, big way, and an embarrassing way.
Yep. Okay. Actually, Red just said Habs probably because the fans there hate us more. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Montreal is their nightmare. Dan, I pulled up Monty's coaching record. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to talk win percentage here. All right. First year in Dallas, 43, 32, and 7, 5.67 win percentage. Next year, only 32 games because he left, obviously. 17, 32, or 17, 11, and 3, 30, 5.78. Then Boston, 8.23 in the record-breaking year. Ridiculous.
Absurd.
Then
absurd.
Boston again, 6.65, 47, 20, and 15, with a not great team, by the way. Two great goalies. Yeah. Then this year in Boston, or his stint in Boston, 4.75, and then the Blues, as you said, I had on reference from last night before the game updated, 6.42. His career win percentage is 6.57, and he's only had 351 games played. And I was like, man, that's interesting. So I pulled up, Dan, the all-time coaching tree here. Like literally ever win percentage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out Cap Raider, by the way, who went to high school with our dad. Heavy Jim Powers episode. Sure. Shout out Cap Raider, highest win percentage in NHL history. Coached one game, they won 1,000%. Bang. How are you?
Gas.
So gas. Go to the Hall of Fame. So then, Dan, I'm going to come back to one guy, but for this, essentially 1 through 7 are guys that coached 1, 5, 90, 53 games. You know, like it's not a good sample size for the stat. Okay. When you get to number 8, coaching 525 games and active, Rod the Bod Brindamore, highest win percentage in NHL coaching history at 6.61. And this is regular season, keep in mind.
Well, not highest in history. Like, are you saying he is the best active?
If you hit a sample size, though, you know, if you're like, you have to coach like over 300 games, you know, yeah.
Okay.
Number 9 on the list, Scotty Bowman with a fucking preposterous 2,141 games, 6.57. All right. Which is tied with Jim Montgomery, 351, 6.57. So he has the number 2 win percentage of all time in NHL history, Dan, if you hit a sample size of 300 games or whatever. Like that is, you fired that person because of a blip year when you had a bad roster that you built.
It's so insane to me, man. And like, I just, oh my God, it's crazy to me how good of a coach he is. And the fact that Boston, in my opinion, lucked out in getting him. Like, it was just such a crazy situation. Like, they fired Cassidy in a era that was like, I mean, I get it. There's some player riffs and stuff like that, but Cassidy then immediately goes on and wins a cup. And then you fire Montgomery when everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then here he is, just, you know, reviving the Blues in the biggest way you've ever seen. And he's got this record, and people will point to his playoff record, but I'm like, guys, if you don't win the cup, most people have a losing record in the playoffs. Like it is what it is. But holy shit, dude, it's I'm telling you, like he is the latest ghost, and I look at the makeup of that Blues team, that roster, the players they have, the way Benner has just completely found his killer form again. Monty's a perfect coach for them, and it's hard when you're looking at. I know we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but when you're looking at teams, wild card teams in particular, lower seed teams who could go on a Cinderella run, I don't know how all eyes don't look straight to St. Louis.
Agree. Quick tangents on this, Dan. Keefe, really high, 6'4", all time. He's right. And Knobloch's up there too, but he just started, right? So really small sample size, but Keefe up there. And higher than guys like Cassidy and John Cooper, 6'3", 9, with good sample size, especially Cooper. Crazy.
Of course.
But that actually surprised me. It shouldn't have, because I guess Keefe's always had that regular season success, but just fascinating to see how high Monty is. But can I tell you this one story, dude? When I was looking this up, like I said, everybody in the top, everybody above Rod the Bod has barely coached, except for, I see this name, Tom Johnson, 208 games, which is not nothing. And his win percentage is .738, which is third highest ever, only behind Cap Raider 1,000, coached 1 game, and Barry Smith 800, coached 5 games. Tom Johnson coached 208 games, .738. So I click on him. And
I was like, who the hell is Tom Johnson, dude? What happened to Tommy J?
Dude, so I click on him, Dan, and he coached the Bees. So I called Dad last night. I'm like, yo, what's good with Tom Johnson? Check this out, Dan. 1970, the Boston Bruins with Bobby Orr win the cup. Okay? Yeah. Harry Sinden is the coach. The next season, Harry Sinden moves to the front office and hires Tom Johnson. Okay? 1971, the Bees go 57-14-7. They finish first, and then they lose in the quarterfinals in 7 to the Habs. Okay?
Yeah.
The next season,
then they win the next year.
They go 54-13-11, finish first, win the cup. The next season, they start the season and they're 31-16-5, which is tremendous, but they're in second place. Yeah. Harry Sinden gasses him midseason. Boom, good day. Highest winning percentage coach of all time, NHL history, gassed midseason because they were in second place.
And he never got hired again? This is horseshit, dude. This is horseshit. We need to figure out what happened. Something happened. Tom Johnson bagged Harry's old lady or something, because there is no reason for that man to get fired. This is ridiculous. There's a conspiracy going on here. Why is Boston firing all these great coaches, dude? This is fucking crazy. Like, you just listed the top 10. We've got Bruce Cassidy. We've got Jim Montgomery, and now we've got Tom Johnson, gassed by Boston.
Literally greatest coach to ever lived.
Such a bad look for Boston, dude. Good God almighty. We wanted to keep that about the Blues, but now it just comes back to Boston's front office shooting themselves in the face all the time. Unbelievable. Listen, dude, you mentioned Knobloch a second ago. Perfect way to transition into some Oilers talk. It's time for me to talk about the thing that makes me so happy, makes me light up like a kid on Christmas morning, and that is Bauer Hockey. Yeah, you know it, babes. You've heard me talk about this as we became partners with Bauer. CP and I are Bauer athletes, not a big deal. That pumps me up as well. Bauer Hockey is the gold standard when it comes to the game of hockey. Everyone knows this. It's been that way since we all started playing, and they're staying in that spot because they are the king. It's unbelievable. It's the best stuff you will ever use, and they're making sure you get the most high-quality, high-tech, revolutionary gear that is going. I'm going to talk to you about the Bauer Twitch, their new stick that's coming up. But before I do that, I want to give you a little personal moment for me talking about things that I love. I'm head to toe Bauer. I really am. I've been wearing Bauer skates since I first started lacing them up, and it's unbelievable how Bauer today, while I'm a beer leaguer, still makes me feel like the best hockey player version of myself. When I get Bauer gear going, I'm not wearing that 10-year-old gear. It's all rickety, falling off me. I feel like a pro out there. But let me tell you what, Bauer apparel has changed the game for me. I'm a huge fitness freak. I'm a huge active guy, and I've always dabbled in other things. There's these new companies that pop up here and there. I wear Bauer everything these days. Their workout shorts, their undershirts, their workout shirts, their hoodies. It's absolutely absurd. Bauer is just crushing it in every area. And like I said, that Bauer Twitch, this new stick that has come out, they have revolutionized the twig game. The kick point, how light it is, the release on the blade, it's absolutely ridiculous. This stick makes you feel like you're David Pastrnak ripping down the wing, going top cheese. It's going to do that for you, I swear, when you get it and use it. So go to BauerHockey.com. Check out everything they've got going. If you have a young kid who's getting in the game, if you yourself are still playing, if you're in beer league and you want to get rid of your old rickety stuff you've been using since high school, Bauer is going to have you covered in every single area of the game, as they've been doing since the first day they became the gold standard. Get in it. Join the family. We realized last night we've been quiet on Edmonton for a little while. Didn't really understand
Which is just
why.
how they like it.
Which is just how they like it. Talk to me about Edmonton.
Okay, Dan, stat boy again. I pulled up some shit, mostly because I was curious about this. I have always said there's the term the Super Bowl hangover. That's where it comes from, I think. And that I think if you check the stats is a real thing. Like teams that lose the Super Bowl miss the playoffs at a pretty high clip. Considering they were just so nasty last year.
Yeah. It's
so
depression.
and I think I've always translated that to hockey in my mind because A, the depression, and B, you have such a long, grueling summer, where it's
it's awful.
20 something more games just to lose and everyone's hurt and needs surgery and there's roster turnover, right? Like it's such a dagger. But I was kind of surprised. I don't know if this surprises you as much as it surprised me, but let me give you the last 10 cup losers and what they did the next year. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Panthers won the cup. Tampa finished third in the Atlantic. Habs finished eighth in the Atlantic, so that's a bad fact, but that was bubble year
that was bubble year.
and they weren't good. Dallas finished fifth in the Central, so not a great year. Bruins first in the Atlantic. Vegas third in the Pacific. Preds first in the Central. Sharks third in the Pacific. Tampa second in the Atlantic. Rangers first in the Met. So almost every single team.
But none of those, other than the Panthers, won the cup.
Oh no, but that's super hard. To lose the cup and then win the next year. No, but my point is, fair. I guess we're talking about Edmonton's cup chances, so very fair. But I was going to say everybody that lost the cup, except for two, finished in their in a lock playoff division spot. So there actually isn't much of a Stanley Cup hangover in terms of your next season's performance in the way I've always thought there were. So that was a cool stat pull. The Oilers currently sit third in the Pacific, and they're jostling with the Kings. So the dip I feared for them didn't happen, but that doesn't really happen anyway. So I shouldn't be that surprised that they're good. They have two of the best players in the world. Here's what I think is a really good conversation though. Here's their top 15 points from last year. Do you have the doc open that I shared this visual with? Because I don't want to read all these out loud to you.
I sure do.
You can see it. Draisaitl, McDavid, Bouchard, RNH, Hyman, Ekholm, Nurse, Skinner coming in at 8th, Perry at 9, Connor Brown. That's from this year. Okay.
This season. Yep.
This season. Last year, McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, switch Hyman and RNH, Ekholm still at 6. And then you had Kane at 7, Fogle at 8, Nurse at 9, McLeod at 10. All right. Perry was down at 13. The concern, and we have more games, but the concern, I think, if I'm looking at the Oilers, is when you go to your number 10 and up, like McLeod had 30 points and then moving up. You go to 10 this year and it's Connor Brown at 25. Those could get to 30 for sure. And scoring is down. You brought that up to me last night too when we were making this. Scoring is down, so it's kind of unfair. But I don't know that at 8, Jeff Skinner, 25 points. Bouchard 58 compared to fucking 82.
The guys you just mentioned.
Year.
Yeah.
There's just, it feels like I'm worried about the production that carried you at times when you were lacking at D at goalie when I'm comparing these point totals.
I mean, for sure, man. Listen, when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, I will never speak ill of your team. You can do anything. And we've seen it. Edmonton gets a big win against Vegas last night. They got a big win against Calgary the other night. where I said I didn't think they deserved to win those games. And Leon's putting the team on his back for all those people who go, Leon might not be the player that we all think he is without Connor. Here he is. He's done it a million times, guys.
He does this every time, Dan. He does this every time. Yep.
When Connor's out, Leon just keeps chugging, man. Like that, it is what it is. But when we talked about this team in our season previews, we said Skinner was obviously a topic, and you showed that this year in 49 games he's got an .894 save percentage, 2.91 goals against. Both would be career worsts if those stay where they are. We talked about the additions that the Oilers made, and I said I think there's a clip. I think we released a clip earlier this year, and I said if guys like Victor Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner become players that we think they could be with these guys, the Oilers look really, really good and really scary and poised to make a return to the Cup. But if they don't, you wonder if they lost brutal, irreplaceable depth with guys like Foegele. And it's starting to look like it didn't really work out the way that you want. And yeah, I think you do kind of wonder here. Like, and this is not me doubting the Oilers. Like I said, I'm not backpedaling. If you have Connor and Leon, you can go to the Cup any year. I don't care who else is on the team. Straight up. That's how good I think these two guys are. But I am here to say I wonder how Edmonton fans are feeling. I feel like the surge that they went on last year, the latter half of the season, once they brought in Knobloch, the way that those guys were just going nuclear, the vibes when they got to playoffs were like, oh, dude, we are a wagon. And they were, and they went straight to the Cup. I wonder what the vibes are now.
Dan, I'm with you because, and obviously different situations on within the team, right? You're on a different line, different players, whatever. But just to go back 2 years ago, okay, when he was healthy, Victor Arvidsson on the Kings, 77 games, 59 points. 2 years ago, okay? Jeff Skinner, 2 years ago, 79 games on Buffalo, 35 goals, 47 assists, 82 points. And then to have 25 from Skinner and 24 from Arvidsson.
Dude,
on this Edmonton
CP,
team.
There's more time, but less than 50 between the two of them.
Bro, like that, when they signed Skinner, I was like, he is going to have 90 points on this Oilers team.
Yeah.
Like I was like, the Oilers just won the Cup with that signing because I love Jeff Skinner. And I was like, dude, that is going to be such a pickup. Oh my God. And the depth you give up doesn't matter because the production you're going to unlock from that kid. And totally. Growing pains, whatever, maybe next year, both of them. But right now, to your point, that production is scary. And dude, the Skinner stat which you read, that's got to be a fear. If you're an Oilers fan listening to this, that has to be a fear, right? If you were being honest with me, because you got the best heater of Skinner's life, and it took you to Game 7 of the Cup, but it wasn't enough to do it. And now he's playing, just statistically, the worst hockey he's ever played in his career. And you're going into you're 9 games away from playoffs, going, well, I just hope he goes on a heater again, even though his heater last year wasn't even good enough. And we're getting less production from our guys, right? I still think they're a sleeping giant. It's just those facts scare me for sure.
Yeah. How could they not? How could they not? So I feel you, but it is what, like we said, Frederick's out, Kane is out. Those guys hopefully back. They've skated with the team. That will be a big, especially when you think about size that they're lacking. I talked about guys like Fogue Daddy who's left. Those guys coming back into the lineup is going to be huge. So we'll see what they look like. But you need McDavid back in the lineup. You need those two guys back in the lineup. But it is,
but that's the positive spin, vibes. Dan, right? Like, let me scroll back up to the points. You had Kane last year. Here it is. Here's last year. Kane at seventh on the team, 44 points, right? Like he's still a guy that can make a difference in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
And Freddie, we love Freddie, dude. And I think Oilers fans are going to love Freddie when they see him in the fucking gritty, tough playoff moments, snapping D-zone draws back, killing penalties. Remember their PK last year, dude? Fucking 8 Dallas to death. I think they eventually give a few to Florida, but suffocating. Freddie's going to help that. And McDavid, obviously he's a mutant at all times, but having him, you never want him hurt, but I don't think he's hurt that bad. And honestly, this is decent rest, come into the playoffs fresh. So if you're looking for the positive spins, I'm like, McDavid's going to be fresh in the playoffs. You're getting 2 guys back that are going to make a huge difference in those fucking tough, gritty, long series. And like you said, Leon's cooking, dude. And quick shouts to him. I think he's at 399 career goals. So that keep eyes on that because that'll be a sick moment to keep the puck on that one. So
absolutely.
Yeah, the Skinner stuff, or excuse me, Skinner and Arvidsson and Stuart Skinner scare me, but you've got a couple dogs coming back to the lineup And no one wants to see you in the playoffs. That's a fact. I don't care who the fuck you are. Nobody wants to see the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. If and when they get by the Kings, then they go, dude, here we go. Now it's Vegas, and I'm ready to rock.
Yep, absolutely true. Speaking of these top teams, let's get into our powers ranking.
All right, got to talk to you about Labatt Blue. God, just thinking about one gets me all juiced up. One of my favorite beers going Labatt Blue and Labatt Blue Light, and they're good for all occasions. Dan and I are on our work retreat in Colorado right now. Bang, Labatt Blue. We're watching hockey, playoff standings changing every 5 seconds. Boom, Labatt Blue. When we get back to LA, I'm going to be on the golf course. Boom, Labatt Blue. It's that simple. Someone sent us a message of drinking a Labatt Blue at Epcot at Disney the other day. I put it on the story. A Labatt Blue at Disney? Are you kidding me? That's how good it is. And Disney, what is it? The most fun place on earth, I think. That's what they say. Imagine being at the most fun place on earth, drinking a beer brewed with Canadian kindness. Imagine that. Canadian kindness at the most fun place on earth. That happened. It went on the story, and I want to see more Labatt Blue out there in the wild. So find a Labatt Blue near you. Experience what we're experiencing, the best for all occasions beer. Send us a message, and I'm going to post them on the story. I want that story to be caterpillared of all the Labatt Blues out there, because now I know that the message is getting out and everyone's experiencing what I'm experiencing, which is one of the great beer drinking experiences on earth. So find yourself a Labatt Blue, shoot us a message, and we're going to get it up there and get in on this action.
And I think, CP, I cannot do this without including the St. Louis Blues.
Do you think they demand a fifth?
Dude, we've talked about so many times when teams go on these heaters, we go, it is not hottest teams in the league. But when you have won 10 straight, when we're looking at your last 10 game sample size and some of the teams that they're beating, I do not see a world where the St. Louis Blues don't crack this. So I want you to keep that in mind.
You might be a top 5 best team in the league right now. You might be. I got to think about it. They might be.
I think, however, when we talk about who is the top of the tops, who are you liking? To me, I still love Tampa. They are out of control, and we disrespect the Canes all the time. I think the Canes have to be in here.
Oh my God, they might. This is actually another really hard one, Dan, because Dallas is
really hard.
Cooking. Dallas is cooking right now.
Yeah. Nasty. Nasty, wasty.
It's like, it's hard. The Caps and the Jets, it's just insane to not say they're among the top 5 best teams in the league, because they just are. They have consistently been.
Mm-hmm.
Which would only, if they're it, that only leaves 3 spots. And I do feel like Dallas has to be involved. I do feel like the Canes have to be involved, because I won't disrespect them again. I won't do it.
Isn't it funny what a week does too? Like last week we had LA 1 and Colorado 2, and then the next day Colorado whacked LA 4-0. And now we're sitting here being like, LA and Colorado might not even be in it.
They're not even the top 5 best teams, Dan. They're not a top 5 team in the league right now. Right now.
I'll tell you what. I've got Florida out. Florida's going to be out of the top 5 right now. They're on a bit of a skid.
Edmonton's also out.
No, not in there. Toronto's won 2 in a row, but I don't know if I have Toronto in here.
I can't have them top 5. I can't have them top 5 right now.
I think we're going to have to say that Dallas is 1 right now.
Dallas is the best team in the league right now.
They're on a 6-game heater. We're going to go Dallas 1.
Okay.
And then Winnipeg, we gave Winnipeg a much deserved tire pump yesterday, but then the
Kings tagged them, dude. Kings tagged them. The Kings aren't even a top 5 team. So what does that say about the Jets? They stink.
Well, hold on. But no, that's big. That's something to consider, because the Kings, they might be in here, dude. 7-3 in the last 10, 2-game winning streak. Well, I didn't say they were out. I just they weren't 1 is what I'm saying. Does Washington get your 2 spot?
Maybe. I mean, they've just been so consistently good. And they just lost to the Jets, though. That's what would happen. They had a Jets loss. That's why I was dogging them.
Yeah, but then they just beat the Bees.
Could Carolina be 2? Could Carolina be the second best team in the league?
They could be, and in fact, I want to give it to them, because we actually punted them last week. So we're going to go Dallas. We're going to go Carolina. And then now we've got Washington, Winnipeg, Toronto, Vegas, Tampa, and the St. Louis, and Colorado, and LA.
And Kane.
Like, we are fucked. We are fucked.
Tampa, dude. I got to get Tampa in there. I have to get Tampa in there.
I do too. And I think I'm probably putting them here at 3.
Dude, they actually have to be 3. They might even be 2. Cooch scores 1,000 points a game. They win every game like 10-0.
No. We're respecting the Canes. The Canes are at 2. We'll put Tampa at 3.
Tampa 3.
And then I'm here to quick trigger this. And I want my Kingies in there, but maybe I got to pump the brakes on the Kings after what we did last week. I think we have to go. So we have Dallas, Carolina, Tampa, and then we've got Washington and Winnipeg and St. Louis.
Do you think the Blues are literally better than Washington or Winnipeg right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right now.
Okay.
Right now.
So do you want St. Louis 4?
When you win 10 games in a row, it transitions from being hottest to you are actually playing great. You're a solid team right now. So I'm going to make you pick between Washington and Winnipeg for the 4 spot because St. Louis has the 5.
Should St. Louis have 4? You said they're better than both of them.
I don't know. No, we're not going to say they're better than both. We're going to put them at the 5, dude. You're in the Powers rankings. That's huge. That is
a big accomplishment. That is a big accomplishment. Okay, then because the Jets, I was going to say because they just lost to the Kings, I have to put the Caps. But I feel bad because Winnipeg, we talked about this last ep, Winnipeg gets no respect. And they deserve it. So Winnipeg.
I like it. Like Washington, you're 6-3-1 in your last 10. You were a wagon, but like
you barely beat the Bees. You barely beat the Bees. They stink.
You're eking out the Bees. Come on, you got to be a little bit better. We're going to give you a little bit of a PP whack for that. So you're out. Winnipeg, you're 4. St. Louis, you are 5. So we've got Dallas, Carolina, Tampa, Winnipeg, St. Louis. That's the Powers rankings. Unbelievable stuff. Let's go to our starting 6, CP. And I think we've got a first timer here. First appearance for Matvei Michkov. Unbelievable. 10 points in his last 5 games, but he has 7 in his 3 games without torts, including 4 goals. The guy, he feels reborn. He's rejuvenated. And we've got a lot of Flyers fans calling for him in the Calder conversation again, which is wrong, but you've got a great player on your hands. It is wrong. You've got a great player on your hands, and he's in the starting 6, so we love that.
Do you actually think he won't be a finalist?
I do not. If there are 3 finalists, it's like there's a world where maybe he jumps Macklin, but I think that's stupid because of Macklin's so many less games than him. I mean, listen, dude, he's obviously top 5, but it's Lane, it's Wolf, and it's Macklin, and it's been that from the beginning. And anyone who doesn't think that is either a biased fan or cuckoo brained, and that's okay. We love cuckoo brained people.
I think they could bump. Depending on how hot Matvei finishes, like if he gets up there right next to Lane.
True.
I
Stop
think they
saying
could bump.
next to Lane. Lane is a fucking defenseman. Like it's over.
I'm literally just saying how many points. No, I'm saying how many points.
Okay,
if he gets up right next to Lane in points, like if he's leading the rookies in points and he's not a finalist, that would be cuckoo brain. So
yeah, that would be cuckoo brain.
Yep. Center. We're going Rupe Hintz. He had 9 points over 4 games. He's been back, Dan, since being hurt for 15 games. He's only been pointless in 5 of them. Dallas has won 6 straight. When he's in the lineup, I think it's tough because Colorado, but I think when he's in the lineup and you get to go Dutchy and Wyatt, that's the deepest top 9 in the league. So sick little run from Rupe and pumped to see him back in action.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Nikita Kucherov is getting our right wing spot. This lunatic has 13 points in his last 4 games, goals in 4 of his last 5. He is past Nate for the league lead in points. He is in full demon goblin mode. He's doing Cooch things. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, don't say anything else. Don't say anything else. At left D, we're going your rookie of the year, Lane Hudson. He leads the all rookies in points with 62, 57 assists. As Dan said at the top, he had back-to-back 3 assist nights, both wins against the Panthers, all 3 assists in the 3-2 win. And 3 of those 6 were primary assists, so all the haters can fuck off because he's not a secondary assist merchant. And I don't give a shit if all 57 of his assists were secondary assists because those count, and he is about to break fucking Sid's rookie year record for most assists in a season from D.
It's insane. You know what's funny? If you are not under 16 years old and you hate on Lane Hudson, you have a big dump in your pants. Like if you are over 16 and you have anything negative to say about Lane Hudson, you are a poo-poo pantsed baby. It is crazy to me that there are like, you know, well, I don't care what you are, Toronto, Ottawa, Boston, whatever fans you are, anyone being like, he's not that good. I'm like, guys, wake up. Ridiculous.
Dude, Dan, remember the Ottawa fans at the beginning of the year with the head fakes? And they hated Lane.
Like you are the most embarrassed person in the world right now. All those people being like, Lane Hudson, 0 points, 27 head fakes. And I'm like, what do you have to say now? Again, you poo-poo pants moron. Ridiculous. The other side of D, Devon Toews, 6 points in his last 5, 39 points on the year after having 57 and 50 the year before that. But let's not forget, he is that absolute rock that lets Kale be Kale. Has a great 5-game stretch here. Devon Toews getting in there. Round us out with goalie, CP.
Goalie, we're going Vasi. 3-0 this week. Gave up 1 goal against Pitt. Shut out Utah. Gave up 1 goal against the Islanders. Is that good, Dan? Is that good? He's only .02 behind Helly in save percentage. The Vezina is over for sure, but Vasi is sneaky, quietly putting in a near Vezina quality season. He should and will be a finalist. And if he's playoff Vasi, bro, then
dude, like that's what I'm screaming, brother. That's what I'm screaming. People just like kind of ruled Vasi out this year for some reason, and now you have woken up a dragon. It's very scary. Let's close this episode out with a game. And today, CP, we're playing 2 Real, 2 Fake. For new listeners or people unfamiliar, this is a game where I will give CP 4 NHL players. 2 of them are real, 2 of them are fake. It's up to CP to figure them out. And CP, we've got 4 players here who all had a bit of a rocky journey in the NHL. Some crazy things happened. Are you ready, my friend?
I am.
Player number 1. We're going all defensemen, too.
I love that.
Lars Jonsson, selected 7th overall by the Boston Bruins in 2000 from Leksand in Sweden. Boston loved this player and attempted to sign him several times, but they ran into issues with the collective bargaining agreement and weren't able to, as Larson never agreed to a deal. After 6 years, they eventually agreed to a compensatory pick, and Larson signed with the Flyers. He then played 8 NHL games.
Wow. So the Bees dodged a bullet, honestly, Dan.
Some are saying.
Dodged a bullet on Lars. God, 7th overall, I hate to see it.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Next one is Denis Anshankov, defenseman. LA Kings 18th overall pick in 2002, and Shankov attended rookie camp in 2003, and despite impressing, was forced to return to Russia to his parent club of Lokomotiv. After a season in the KHL, and Shankov attended training camp again with the Kings, where he eventually signed his 3-year entry-level contract. However, Lokomotiv again created complications, claiming that Anshankov was still under contract and could not play for an NHL club. He was forced to return to Russia. The Kings ended up paying all 3 years of his entry-level salary, and Anshankov never played a game in the NHL. He is currently listed as a free agent.
Oh, dude, he's got to someone take a shot. Someone take a shot on him. Dude, I don't hate it. He's got more tread on those tires.
Player number 3, Cam Barker, defenseman. After 2 Hall of Famers were selected in 2004, 1 and 2 in Ovechkin and Malkin, Cam Barker was selected 3rd overall by the Blackhawks. After a stellar WHL season, he made the Hawks opening day roster in his first camp with the team, but was sent back to the WHL after just 1 game. After several seasons with the Hawks, the NHLPA filed a grievance on his behalf after not offering him a qualifying offer as an RFA. The Hawks signed him that same day to a 3-year deal and then traded him to the Wild a few months later due to cap issues. The Wild then bought him out. He finished his career with 310 games and just shy of 100 points before going to the KHL.
Dude, this is a dagger because I can't believe I don't know who went 3rd that year because that's such a good stat. But I don't know. So
it was Cam Barker. I'm here to tell you.
It's Cam Barker. Carry on.
Now your last player, Brett Friesen, defenseman, selected 10th overall in the 1994 NHL draft by the Washington Capitals out of British Columbia. Friesen was an immediate success in his first year in the league in 1995, finishing third in Calder voting with 31 points in 47 games during the lockout season, losing to Peter Forsberg. Friesen continued his success with back-to-back plus 44-point seasons in 96 and 97. However, in January of 1998, during the All-Star break, Friesen tore his ACL and broke his ankle in a skiing accident. After numerous surgery attempts and spells in the American League, he never played in the NHL again. Friesen was a key feature in 1999 in the NHL and NHLPA collective bargaining agreement decision to forbid players under contract from skiing-related activities.
Tremendous
very
work,
complicated players, Chris. Four very complicated players.
Work. God damn. And the backstories, dude, are just like so complex and layered.
This is a complex league, my man.
Yeah, this one, dude, I have no fucking clue, dude. Usually there's like some tells, some triggers. Yeah. I have no clue.
Let me give you their names. Yeah, give me their names one more time. We've got Lars Jonsson, we've got Dennis and Shankov, we've got Cam Barker, and we've got Brett Friesen.
Yeah.
Four very real, very real hockey players.
Yeah, all four. There's the twist, dude. They're all real. Let me go. Oh man, dude. I am going to say that the real players. There was something said about each of them where I realized that they were real. You know, like I was like, this one's fake, and then something was said, and I was like, oh, that is real because of that.
Yeah, sure.
So that is fucked. I'm going to say that Lars and Friesen are real. I'm going 1 and 4 are real. Lars and Friesen. And I'm basing that, Dan, off literally fuck all. Like, yeah, because when you said the second one and the Kings paid out his salary, that is the most fucking out of pocket shit from you of all time, if that's made up. So I was like, he has to be fucking real. But then, and then we got to Cam and I was like, dude, is that his fucking name? Like, I feel like I would remember, but I don't. So that's what rattled me there. And then the last one, dude, if it's fake, then that's true about someone with the ski thing. So like that, I need to know if you got me on that, I need to know who that is true about. That's my reasoning.
Yeah. Okay. Lars Jonsson, Chris, selected 7th overall by the Boston Bruins in 2000. Real.
Wow. True. Dude, that's crazy. How do I not remember that guy?
6 years, a 7th overall pick. They could never sign him, and then they accepted a 39th overall compensatory pick, and he then signed with the Flyers.
Dude, that is so crazy. How many games did he get with the Flyers?
8. He played 8 games.
Oh, 8 games.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Crazy.
Nuts. So did he play after? Did he go somewhere?
I think he went back and played in Sweden a lot, yeah. But brutal stuff. All right, so you had Lars real. Lars is real.
Yep.
Dennis Anshankov. LA Kings 18th overall pick in 2002. Crazy stuff. You had him as fake.
Yep.
He is fake.
Oh my God, dude.
I
can't believe you put in that fucking contract. Dude. That was insane. Holy shit.
Now, Cam Barker, selected after Ovi and Malkin. You had him as fake.
Yep.
Cam Barker is real, my friend.
He went third, dude.
He went third, and the Hawks, dude. By the way, I left this part out when they were forced. When the NHLPA filed a grievance because the Hawks didn't give him his qualifying offer as an RFA. They did that to 5 guys that year, and then they gave him a deal, and then they had to trade him a few months later because they're like, we have no money. So I don't know what the fuck went on with the Hawks that year.
That is so crazy.
So then Brett Friesen, you had as real, is in fact fake, my friend. He did not have the skiing accident, but you are right. That did happen to someone.
Dude, do you know? Yeah, like holy shit.
I looked it up. I couldn't find anything, but instead I made it up about Brett Friesen.
Dude, poor Brett. He fucking tore it. He tore it, and it was the ankle break, Dan, that made me think he
Yeah.
was real. Because you were like, he tore it, and I was like, yeah, that's what you would say if you were making up a fake injury. But then you said he tore it and broke his ankle.
Oh yeah, he did a lot, dude. That was devastating.
What?
Devastating injury.
I should have known, dude.
And,
you don't break your ankle in the boot, dude. God damn it.
dude, and you know what I really love about Dennis and Shankov?
What?
Dennis is the first name of a guy that the Kings took in the first round in 2002, and then Shankov is the last name of a guy the Kings took in 2002 in the second round.
Wow. Sick.
So I'm getting real perverted with it right now.
Yeah, dude, that makes it very hard. That makes it very hard.
Oh yeah. All right, that is a great round of 2 Real 2 Fake. I always love it when we split like that. You get
Me too.
You get 1 and 1. It's really, really nice. That is it for us this week at the Empty Netters podcast. We are headed off to Tampa this weekend. So Bolts fans, if you're rolling around, we're going to be there. We're headed there for a little bachelor party, but we're going to be staying dialed. We're going to be covering all the games. And guys, in the meantime, you got the weekend. Check out some content. Follow us on the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Look at me right now. Look at this War Road gear. Buy some merch. Pop onto our store. Get fitted. You need this stuff. You need to stay dialed with us. We'll stay dialed with you. And until we see you next time, CP, tell them what to do.
Skate hard.